What if I told you the secret to achieving incredible financial freedom, the kind of life you really dream about, has almost nothing to do with saving or budgeting or even just working harder?
That's quite a way to start, yeah. But honestly, after, 3 decades watching what really makes the difference for people financially, it kind of gets right to the heart of it. We're so often pushed to look outside.
Right, the numbers, the paycheck, the stuff.
Exactly. We focus on the symptoms, the money itself.
But you're saying the actual engine, the thing that creates abundance, not just dollars, but that feeling of a life well lived, operates somewhere else entirely, on a different level.
Precisely. And that's what this deep dive is really about. Shifting that focus. We're diving into these fundamental principles behind wealth creation, showing you it starts inside. It's about understanding and then, using the power of your own mind to get the life you want.
Okay, let's get into it. Because when people hear wealth, images pop up, right? Mansions, fancy cars, maybe an island.
Sure. And money can buy those things.
Right.
There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting or enjoying them.
Right.
But if you peel back the layers, money, it's just a tool. It's paper, metal, digits on a screen. It's value. It's just based on our collective agreement, our trust that we can exchange it for stuff.
And this is such a critical point. You always make money as a servant versus a master.
Oh, absolutely fundamental. You see, the goal isn't to love money. That puts you in its chains. It starts consuming your thoughts, your energy, everything.
You become its slave.
Totally. The real goal, I believe, is to love people, to love life itself, and then to use money. Use it as a resource to support those higher values. It should never, ever be the other way around.
Because when it is the master, whether you feel you have too little or you're just chasing more and more.
It just breeds anxiety, constriction, fear, really.
So if it's not about loving the money, what are people actually chasing when they aim for financial success? What's underneath it all?
Deep down, they're chasing the feeling. The freedom that money can, facilitate. Yes, the tangible things matter, a secure home, travel, comfort. But dig deeper, and what you find is this desire for autonomy, for making an impact. And maybe the biggest one, the freedom of time.
Time. The ultimate luxury.
Isn't it? The ability to spend your days doing things that matter to you, with people you care about. Not because you have to financially, but because you choose to.
That really hits home. It's about the life quality, the experience, having control, not just piling up cash. You often talk about wealth in broader terms, like that old definition, abundant supply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True wealth is having that abundant supply, yes. But more than that, it's the ability to create a life you genuinely love, a life you consciously design.
And understanding that changes how we interact with money.
Completely. It stops being this static thing you hoard out of fear. Think of it more like water. It needs to flow.
The law of circulation you mentioned.
That's the one. Money in motion. Circulating, investing, giving, receiving, it builds momentum. It actually draws more abundance to you.
And if it stops?
It stagnates, just like still water. It loses its vitality, its life force. Think about it, a single drop of water isn't much. But millions of drops flowing together, they carve canyons, they power cities.
Wow, yes.
So even small amounts put into purposeful motion, consciously directed, they have incredible power. The magic isn't just in the amount, it's in the flow, the deliberate circulation.
Okay, so wealth is freedom, abundant supply, money needs to flow, don't love the money itself. Got it. But how do you start that flow? How do you tap into that supply if you feel like you're nowhere near it right now and you're saying the answer isn't out there?
And here we land on the absolute bedrock principle, the one I've seen hold true consistently over 3 decades. It is not about the money. It's about your mind.
Your mindset.
Your mindset, your attitude, your core beliefs, the way you habitually think. That dictates your financial reality. And look, this isn't just some feel-good notion. It's a practical observation of what separates average results from, exceptional success. True wealth creation.
This flies right in the face of that old saying, seeing is believing.
It doesn't just challenge it, it flips it completely. For creating wealth, the principle is believing is seeing. You have to cultivate the inner conviction first, build that clear mental picture of what you want, and hold on to that belief, with absolute certainty before it shows up in your bank account or your life.
So our results, they're just mirroring our current level of awareness, our beliefs about what's possible for us.
A perfect mirror, a direct expression. And sadly, most people are walking around with results that reflect a pretty limited awareness when it comes to actually earning significant money.
Why is that?
Because our traditional systems, especially education, they don't teach you how to create wealth. They teach you accounting, maybe. How to manage money once you have it.
Right, spreadsheets and budgets.
Exactly. But they don't teach you the foundational stuff. How do you spot a need? How do you create massive value for others by filling that need? How do you attract compensation that reflects that value, potentially on a huge scale?
Instead, we get programmed for a different track. Go to school, find a safe job.
Get the mortgage, hope for tiny raises each year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole narrative. And while that might feel secure on the surface, it actually creates this very limiting box, this paradigm. You become dependent on someone else, your employer, for your income, your growth.
And you're saying that dependence, it might actually be riskier today.
In many ways, yes.
Yes.
In this fast-changing world, relying on one job can be far more precarious than developing your own ability to create value, to be self-sufficient, maybe even independent. You end up trapped in what I sometimes call the prison of perception.
Prison of perception. Yeah, it's like this mental cage built from all the beliefs and assumptions about money and security that we inherit or absorb, usually without even realizing it. Beliefs that hold us back. Getting free means first seeing the bars, identifying those limiting beliefs.
Okay, so if chasing the money directly isn't the answer, and it's all about changing this inner world, this mindset, how do you actually become that person, the kind of person who just naturally attracts wealth?
That's the crucial pivot. You shift your focus. You stop making the money the primary target and instead dedicate your energy to becoming the person who is capable of earning it, capable of creating it, handling it wisely.
It's about personal transformation.
Exactly. The materials I've studied, the people I've worked with, it consistently shows that the biggest reward isn't the money or the thing you achieve. It's the person you become in the process of striving for that big, exciting goal. You uncover strengths you didn't know you had, you bring more of your potential out, you literally expand.
And successful people, wealthy people, they weren't just born different, with some magic money gene.
Oh, rarely. Almost never. What they typically have is that wealth mindset. They operate from this deep expectation of success.
An expectation.
A core belief. And that expectation, rooted deep down, changes how they see everything. They notice opportunities others miss completely. They see solutions where everyone else just sees problems. They somehow attract the right people, the right circumstances. It's that cultivated awareness and belief. That's the game changer.
You've also brought up an idea that might ruffle some feathers. That becoming rich isn't just okay, but maybe even a kind of duty?
It's a perspective shift, for sure. But think about it beyond the lens of scarcity or greed. When you have abundant resources, your capacity to do good in the world expands dramatically.
Right, you can contribute more.
Way more. Support causes, help your family, build things, create jobs. You can provide value and service far beyond what's possible from a place of just getting by. It's about becoming a more powerful force for positive impact. Not greed, but contribution.
That definitely reframes it. Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful. But for someone listening thinking, I get the theory, I get the mindset part, but how do I do this? What are the actual steps?
Right. Let's get practical.
Yeah.
This is where intention has to meet action. First thing, you need absolute clarity on your desire. You can't just vaguely want more money. That doesn't work.
Too fuzzy.
Way too fuzzy. The universe, your subconscious, opportunity itself.
Yeah.
They respond to specifics. So you have to decide. Decide on a precise figure, an amount you want to earn, maybe annually, maybe monthly, that genuinely excites you, maybe even scares you a little.
And
Then you demand it, not just wish for it, demand it from yourself. Demand that you rise to the level required to earn it, because the potential is within you, often far more than your current programming allows you to believe.
demand it. Okay, so you have the specific number. What next? How do you embed that?
Now you use tools to impress this new reality onto your subconscious mind. You're basically overriding the old limiting programming.
This is where things like goal cards and affirmations come in.
Exactly. Write your goal down. Crucially, write it in the present tense as if it's already happened. A really effective classic phrasing is, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am earning your specific figure per year month.
The happy and grateful now part is key.
Absolutely key. It engages emotion, feeling.
Yeah.
You're feeling the gratitude of having it now. Then write that statement out. Maybe, especially at first, write it 100 times a day. Read it aloud. Feel the feeling.
Wow, 100 times.
It creates focus.
Yeah.
And carry a small card with that goal statement on it. Pull it out, read it multiple times a day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, during breaks. This constant repetition, charged with emotion, it bypasses your logical, critical mind and sinks deep into the subconscious. It changes your energy, your vibration. It conditions you for success.
It's like setting new coordinates for your internal guidance system. Visualization must fit in here too.
Oh, absolutely vital. You have to see it and feel it. Thinking, and more importantly, feeling as if you already have that money, living that life. It creates this powerful magnetic image in your mind.
Because the subconscious doesn't know the difference.
There's a distinction between a vividly imagined reality and an actual one. So take time every day, sit quietly, visualize your success. See it in rich detail. What does it look like, feel like, smell like? Hear the sounds associated with it. This mental rehearsal aligns your inner world with the outer reality you want to create. That image, held consistently with feeling, starts to move into physical form.
What about when the number feels just huge, like say $1 million a year? That feels impossible for someone starting out.
Very common sticking point.
Yeah.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
And the way you handle that is simple but powerful. You break it down.
Chunked it down.
Exactly. $1 million a year sounds like Monopoly money, right? Abstract.
Yeah.
But let's make it real. $1 million a year. Okay, that's about $83,000 a month. Still big.
Still feels big.
Okay, that's roughly $19,000 a week. Getting warmer.
A little.
How about $3,800 or so per workday? Or look, if you work a 40-hour week, that's around $480 an hour.
Okay, $480 an hour. That actually feels a different. Less like a fantasy number, more like something you could maybe figure out how to earn.
See, your brain immediately shifts from impossible to, how can I provide $480 worth of value in an hour? What service, what skill, what problem solved is worth that? It opens up the brainstorming. Or you could break it down quarterly. Aim for $100 first quarter, maybe $200 the second. Build momentum. Breaking down the giant goal makes the path suddenly visible, actionable.
That makes a world of difference. So have the big vision, break it down, and then take action based on that breakdown.
Absolutely. The thinking, the believing, the visualizing, that's the setup, the foundation. But it means nothing without inspired action, consistent action.
So what does that look like day to day?
Simple habit. Every night, before sleep, ask yourself, what is the one most important thing I can do tomorrow to move closer to my goal? Just one thing. Write it down.
And
then tomorrow, you do that thing. Prioritize it. Get it done.
Yeah.
This isn't about being frantically busy. It's about focused, purposeful steps aligned with where you want to go.
And what kind of actions tend to be the most effective? What should people focus on?
Focus on increasing the value you provide. That's the core. It could mean doing your current job better, finding ways to improve service, being more efficient. But it also means looking for ways to solve bigger problems for more people. Maybe creating passive income streams.
Because income follows value.
Always. Your income is almost always in direct proportion to three things: the demand for what you do, your ability to do it really, really well, and how difficult it would be to replace you. Solve bigger problems, deliver more value, become harder to replace. And the money has to follow. It's a law, like gravity. And just as important as the goal setting and action is managing your energy, your time, your relationship, even your relationship with the money itself.
Right. People always say, I don't have enough time.
And what I've seen consistently over 30 years is that a lack of time is almost always really a lack of priorities. When you have a truly compelling goal, a clear vision you're fired up about, you just naturally start focusing your energy there.
You make time.
You make time. You find the time. You cut out the stuff that doesn't matter, the things that drain your energy without moving you forward. You become the master of your calendar, aligning it with your purpose.
Taking back control.
Yes, and taking back control as the master of your money too. Remember, it's the servant. Make it work for you. Circulate it happily, spend it with joy, invest it with confidence, knowing it's going out to do good work and will return to you multiplied. Use it to fuel your growth, your learning.
Which connects back to what you said earlier about independence versus dependence.
It absolutely does. Relying on just one source of income, usually an employer, puts your financial destiny in someone else's hands. That's risky. Cultivating your own ability to generate income, maybe through your own business, maybe multiple streams, that gives you resilience, real security, autonomy.
And finally, you mentioned connections and learning.
Crucial pieces. Surround yourself with the right people. People who are also growing, who are positive, supportive, aiming high themselves. Those relationships are fuel. They provide insight, encouragement, and never stop learning. Commit to constantly expanding your awareness. Read, take courses, find mentors. The more you learn, the more your capacity to think, create, solve problems, and earn grows.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it really comes down to this. Building wealth isn't fundamentally about complex financial maneuvers or just grinding harder.
It really is an inside game, first and foremost. It's about deliberately, consistently cultivating that wealthy mindset. Having a clear purpose, fueling it with unwavering belief, and then expressing that through focused action that delivers real value. Your inner world literally creates your outer reality.
Change your thinking, change your results.
That's the essence of it. So believing is seeing. If your life right now is just reflecting your current beliefs and awareness, just pause and consider the untapped power sleeping inside your own mind, your imagination. What incredible possibilities, what levels of wealth, freedom, impact could you unlock just by daring to change your belief about what you're truly capable of earning and becoming?